Yes, This song is called Be the Change, inspired by the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who lived for peace and not violence, and told us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Freedom's calling, I feel the fire that's deep inside us. Everybody wants change, but tell me who will guide us. To the leaders that passed away, put up your lighters. It's a beautiful struggle, but it cannot divide us. We're the ones that we've always been waiting for. See yourself in the mirror and open up the door. Walk through it and feel the love throughout your pores. Be the light, life's purpose is to feel joy. Metaphysical, lyrical, standing up for truth. The only one to make change is walking in your shoes. Be the example, don't complain about the news. Making music and serving the world with the loo. Now you can be the same, or you can be
Oh man, you know, another beautiful day here in Weston, Washington. We have, I don't know if we're setting records or not, but boy, it hasn't rained here in a long time. And frankly, I am actually loving seeing the blue sky on a regular basis.
I'll send you some rain then.
Oh, well, actually, it's on its way later this week. Just when I happen to be coming into a period of time where I'm going to be working outside. Yay. I kind of volunteered to help put up a food bank building here in Lewis County, Washington. It's a metal building thing, and me being who I am, and I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but knowing how to put things together like that, I kind of stuck my hand up and said, sure, I'll help you guys. So I'll be spending a chunk of time putting up this metal building and getting this place up and running. You know, this kind of thing, you know, it's that is for a good cause. So I'd say at least 50% of the people that go there are in need, but it's the other 50% that I'm doing it for. Anyways, monkeys, all over the freaking place, monkeys. You know, Ramon, I am getting more and more people at work, and I've talked to you about this before, how I've had bouts of depression, so to say, about the guys that I interact with every day. How it just felt like they're not getting it. Nobody's, waking up. Nobody's really getting it. But more and more in this year in particular, things have been ramping up with them as far as their minds opening and asking me questions. Everybody there where I work knows that Tom is, out in the woo-woo land or going out chasing UFOs or blaspheming against God, or they however they want to see it. There's a lot of judgments kind of been thrown my way, but I take it all with a grain of salt and grin and bear it and send them back some love, and I have been getting more and more people that have come up to me and talked about anomalous things in their own lives that has really made me go, wow, okay, people are starting to wake up. They're really, really starting to wake up, and I am, it just, I don't know, that optimism that I've always had is right in my own front yard. So
yeah, we might see it. I mean, I'm the same way. It's like I've been having the same thing where people I do not expect to be into this are really into this. I, of all people, my wife's friends are really into this. And it was like, do you ever talk to your wife about this? And I was like, no, not really.
I saw an article today. I don't remember what site I saw it on. Oh, actually, it was a local news station site where a group of astronomers are calling for a study on UFOs.
Did you put that in the news article?
I did not. I didn't copy links or anything.
Bad Tom. Bad
Yeah.
Tom.
But I found that, again, that optimism is starting to wake up out there, and people are starting to ask questions, and we've got a group of scientists, a group of astronomers, official, in the box, what people have termed in the box, the scientific community people saying, hey, we really should study this stuff. So
we might see it this year, Tom.
I don't know. I mean, things are definitely moving on the consciousness front, and that snowballs keeps rolling down the hill and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah. I'm very optimistic about it. So what else did you stick in the news there, Ramon?
Let's see. We have, this is what a 2-year-old fast food looks like. They have 3 burgers from 3 different companies, and after 2-year mark, they took a picture, and it looks exactly the same.
Isn't that something?
Oh, God. Do you want to go get one? Here's another one that I'm not too sure about. The English one, there's an English version and there's a Spanish version. I only put up the English version, but the Spanish version says that they've also caught this human-sized bat in Peru, but it also talks about them catching one, I think it was Indonesia. So I don't know how real this is, but by looking at the picture of the bat, it's about 5'7", and the wingspan's about 8 or 9 feet long. Yeah. Would you like to have one of those as a pet? Right around?
My first wife.
Oh, jeez, that's bad.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on.
I'll pay for that one.
Giant Marvel Harvest, energy from sun and moon. This thing looks really, really cool. I'm not sure how much power it actually gathers. It'll be interesting to get him on the show. What do you think there?
Are you still on the bat story, or are you on the marble?
Did you lose your marbles? I'm on the marble.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it would be nice to get the bat on the show. Anyway,
yeah, I'm taking a look at that thing. That looks like a giant crystal.
Yeah.
A crystal ball. Oh, that can't be real. That's got to be something else.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, it's a glass marble. Looks like a giant glass marble, but this globe is no game. It is a sun tracking solar energy concentrator created by Barcelona-based architects, and according to the designers, it is able to collect not just sunlight but moonlight as well. So I wonder if they're trying to think of some way to use solar or even lunar energy of some sorts.
Yeah, that's a big problem with the solar panels, is that it only collects in the daytime. So
that would be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder how much power it can collect. But I think that's too big to put in your backyard, Tom.
Yeah, probably so. I'd have a heck of a time lugging it around.
So you can find us on Facebook. If you scroll down, you'll see the links. Facebook, Tom's YouTube, Twitter, and Vimeo. Let's see what else we got. If you guys have any guests you want to recommend, please send us a request, and we'll take a look at it. And
also, your own personal stories. We like to hear your experiences. Drop us a line and we'll chat. Everybody, especially the people listening to this, you've all had your own unique, anomalous experience of some form or fashion, and we'd like to hear about it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we all experience, and sharing makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Oh, last thing. We've been doing the Nature of Money series with Spencer Barclay, and we put out last week the segment 3. So take a look at that, and it's very interesting the way he really breaks down the money and contracts and wording. It's like I'm learning English all over again.
Yeah, really. It is a foreign language, believe it or not.
Yeah. So, we have someone, I'll let you introduce her, Tom, but I just want to say this. I want to give big thanks to the guys from Truth Theorem Radio. They highly recommend her, and I listened to their show with her, and then I listened to her show, and just loved it. Phenomenal. Tom?
We have Teresa with us tonight. Teresa is a spiritual medium, healer, and animal communicator who has been able to see spirits since she was 4 years old. Throughout the years, she has continued to grow and develop more gifts that enable her to heal and feel spirit and utilize God's loving white light to heal and help others. Teresa's true gift is her ability to communicate with loved ones who have passed over, and guided by her teachers, angels, and guides, her tag team, I love that, deliver information that can improve the health and well-being of her clients. She also shares specific messages and information about past, present, and future events, and various topics, including, but not limited to, relationship, health, career, family, money, and travel, etc., etc. Teresa obviously is a medium extraordinaire, and we want to welcome you warmly to the Hundredth Monkey Radio.
Oh, guys, thank you for having me. What a great introduction. You guys really do rock. I like you guys.
Thank you. We'll send you a check for saying nice things.
Yeah. Make it nice and big, okay?
We'll do what we can.
Okay.
So wow, you must have had a very interesting childhood growing up with being able to see what you were able to see. Now you said your spirit, your gifts have grown. What did you come into at 4 years old?
I grew up in the era, and for those of you who are not from that era, we had very all of us, who are around late 40s, 50s, 60s, grew up in an era with Casper the Friendly Ghost, Ghost of Mrs. Muir, I Dream of Jeannie. We had Batman, we had Robin. So there was a lot more animation in the sense of using your imagination instead of watching cartoons. Even though we had Casper the Friendly Ghost, there was a lot more portrayal of actual spiritual, mystic magic being portrayed by human people. And I saw that on TV, and it was happening in my life already. So it was normal. I thought everybody did. I thought if it was on TV and they were showing it, why wouldn't everybody else have it? So I grew up with the preconceived notion that everybody saw what I saw, everybody interacted with what I interacted with. The only thing my parents told me was, don't tell anybody. And they didn't tell me why. I grew up in a very Catholic, traditional Italian family, and my father being so dominant and my mother being so submissive in so many ways, whatever my father said, my mother followed through with, and she was very much, and both my parents were, the appearances to what the neighbors thought. So my parents were very careful in not letting anybody know that I might be different, or they wouldn't allow me to be different. We spoke very mainstream in my family, and anything that was different or unique, I had to keep to myself.
Mm. Did your mother have any gifts that you were aware of?
No. I don't know how I came into the family.
Huh.
I'm really the odd duckling out, and I see things differently. Everybody who's met my family has turned around and said to me, how are you so different, and how did you survive? I come from the really traditional, non-traditional, dysfunctional family. So
sorry.
So
I can relate. That's why I'm just laughing.
I survived it, and I'm able to help other people. My mom passed about a year and a half ago, and even to the day she passed, on her deathbed, she said to me, "My last wish for you is that you get a job."
Oh wow!
And I'm like, okay, they just don't get it. And by that time, I'm already 30 years into this, doing this professionally. I've been on TV, I've been on radio, I have my own radio show, which you guys were so kindly to promote. It's on every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock on the Global Radio Alliance. You can go to my website, which is teresacommunicates.com, and click on it to listen to it. I've been on TV. As a matter of fact, there's 2 segments of me coming out in 2 new TV shows. And I've been written up in the paper. I've been on national television. And my mother and my parents still live in that. And my sister still, too. To this day are in denial. When you get in a real job. You know, you can't deny what is given to you. You know, I came into this world, you guys had mentioned contracts when in your introduction. We all have contracts. My contract is to help as many people as I can using the gifts that I've been given. Growing up, I didn't have really any friends, so I spent a lot of time in nature. I would sit quietly in nature and I would try to communicate with animals that passed me, whether it was a raccoon, a marsupial. It didn't matter. I love dogs. I always did. And growing up, we had 2 or 3 dogs. I would talk to them all the time. I was around them all the time. Where my parents lived when I grew up, it was there was a lot of rural areas, so there were deer. So I would try to communicate with them. I would go and hug trees, talk to frogs. Spent a lot of time just hanging out in Mother Nature, and my tag team taught me a lot of things about nature and how to sit quietly, how to meditate, how to pretty much acquiesce into the authentic self and connect with the vibration that we live in.
Wow. So you didn't have what so many of us in this era have had to experience, the proverbial 2x4 upside the head to wake you up.
No, I had just the opposite. I think I came in pretty woken up. I think I came in well ahead of my generations in that sense. I still have the reverse of that. I call it, I don't understand the human being aspect. So in many ways, I'm still a teenager. I often walk around with my mouth open like, really? That really happened? Or that person really said that? Because I don't understand human behavior in the sense of the lack of compassion, the lack of love, the lack of respect.
Right.
Those attributes that we as humans find very easily to discriminate and destroy by taking other people down.
Yeah. I was talking about that on the last show, how I sometimes feel that we should open a school where kids teach adults. Because I worked at a preschool, and I find so many times where these kids' behaviors just amaze me because, for example, one of the younger kids falls on the floor, one of the older kids comes over, picks them up, dusts them off, and tell them they're gonna be okay. Or, you know, they're asked a question and they get really nervous and they start crying, and the other kids, you know, are cheering them on. And this is, you know, under the age of 5. And I was like, okay, for me, that's real human behavior. All this other crap we learn later, it's not human behavior.
No, we're taught how to act badly.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part. I still don't get that behavior. I call it, you know, in my personal life, I call it being human. I'll talk in the open forums when I lecture or at my public speaking events. I don't understand the aspects of being human. I just I understand them in the sense I see them happen. I understand why they happen because I can see people's pain. I read people, but I understand why they propagate it, why it still allows to continue versus stop and heal and change. And that's the sad part of a lot of what I do. It's the sadness that people aren't getting it. And it's people like myself who are to bring in that light, to bring in that compassion, and to give people insight and wisdom to their own life, their attitudes, their belief structure, their behavior. So hopefully we can change the consciousness.
Well, so what is in all the readings that you do, I'm wondering if you've noted any one or two particular issue that is a pretty constant theme throughout that people have issues with.
There is a constant theme, and you hear the in my voice and a little hesitation because it's a theme that really concerns me, and I'm seeing a lot of it. Most of my clients are female. I would say 99% of them are female, and my demographics are from anywhere from the age of 25 to 80, and some of them are 90. But there seems to be a general theme, and especially over the last several years, and more distinctly this last year, is this behavior from the males in the narcissistic, psychopathic genre of being so self-consumed that they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to interrelate. They really want to dominate and control females, and I'm seeing it every day. And I read every day, hours, with clients. I do 1 hour readings, but I have multiple clients a day. And at least one a day, I am seeing that happen. And as the earth transgresses into a more female vibration, I notice males acting out more inappropriately, acting badly towards females. That's the theme that's really predominant in my practice right now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we got to thank our whole social media complex that is, for the last 50 years, the way they've really, well, let's say the last 4,000 years, the way they've really drummed up the male dominance thing.
I don't disagree with you, but I also truly believe as consciousness towards 2012 is evolving, we're coming closer to December 21st, which is a rebirth. It's not the ending of the world, it's rebirthing of a female vibration, and that vibration is about to take hold and allow the maternal side of Mother Nature to come in and be more compassionate, to be more loving. That's the consciousness shift. And a lot of men can't relate to that. They can't understand it or incorporate it into their reality. So instead of yielding to it, they're fighting it, and they're taking it out on the most present individual who carries that female vibration, and it's usually a spouse, a girlfriend, a relationship connection.
Yeah.
And that's very sad for me, and it's very heartbreaking. As a matter of fact, tonight, before we came on air, I had a client in that I spent a lot of time with, and she's going through a very devastating reality, and especially from the reading, I not only had to tell her certain things, but I confirmed a lot of what she didn't want to deal with, and it was hard. It's hard for me to see how these women are abused. And it's not just physical. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's more emotional and mental than it is physical.
Right.
On the other side of that coin, I don't know about your clients, but there's a lot of women I've met like that. And what I've noticed is there's like a pattern. Because if it's the first boyfriend or the first husband who does that, then you're like, oh, he's a prick, and But when there's a pattern of women who consistently get the same kind of man, I no longer blame the man, because you're attracting that to your life. So what are you doing as a person that you're not changing something? Because okay, this guy used to beat you, but now the second and the third guy used to beat you. So where are you finding these men?
Well, and my other question to you is, if you happen to look out there, there is a large volume of increasing publications of books on psychopaths. And psychopaths are not just murderers. There's all varying degrees, but psychopaths in the narcissistic profile of interrelationship or lack of relationship communication, dialogue, and interaction. And it's becoming an epidemic issue. And it's not only I'm seeing it, I have a lot of clients who come from psychiatrists, psychologists, and we talk, and they're seeing it as well. So it's not just anymore something that I will say to you happens occasionally. It's becoming epidemic. There's more and more books written about it. There's more and more seminars about it. More and more of my professional psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists are seeing it too.
Yeah, some people believe that they're almost like a separate species, almost per se, because they're not born with the same kind of things that we are.
Well, it's different soul groups. Well, yeah. It's different soul groups there, and that's what's going to be in my book. I'm going to talk about the different types of energies, the different soul groups, the different types of soul levels. Not everybody comes in equal. And that includes the karmic path, it includes your past life issues, but also includes the level of energy that you carry in through your soul. Everybody has different levels of energy, and I explain it like this to my clients. And I'll share this with you if you're interested.
Oh, absolutely.
I explain it as light bulbs. Now, there's different wattages of light bulbs. There's a little nightlight that's usually a 5 or 10 volt. Then you have a 30 watt, you have a 45, you have a 75, you'll have a 60, 100. Everybody's soul has a different wattage. That different wattage has a different consciousness, has a different light to it. And in doing so, they carry different energies. And the more light that you carry, the higher your wattage. Therefore, the more enlightened you are, the more wisdom you carry, the more of the spiritual gifts you will carry. And I'm seeing a lot of men not carrying it and not wanting to open up to it. And I'm just answering your question because it really saddens my heart to see that it's become such a problem. And even on the Wall Street Journal, if you go back about a year ago, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article, and the article was comprised of a census taken. They said since the census has been taken since the 1800s, this right now, 2012, has the largest percentage of single females. It's over 75%.
Wow.
So that also goes to speaking to what I'm seeing in my practice is, a lot of spiritual changes. And as a medium, my hope is that we all get to the consciousness so we can all share in that love, that light, that essence of beauty. And I'm seeing a very severe demarcation in the consciousness between male and females.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people out in this field that talk about a split that is coming, almost a dimensional, or it can go a lot of different ways, a reality or a dimensional type shift. That's associated with the time that we're in, and those who are getting it may find themselves in one place, while those who just aren't ready to get it or have no desire to get it find themselves in another 3D reality to continue to grow. So
absolutely.
Is that the way you see it as far as what's impending for us is sort of a reality shift or a split?
It's already happening. I see it as multi-level and multi-dimensional. This shift of 2012 is not just going to be one aspect or another. It's going to be many different aspects in many different ways. It's going to be global. It's going to be geographic. It's going to be cultural. It's going to be male versus female in that shift. It's going to be consciousness shift. It's already happening with children, these indigo children who have come in the last 10 to 12 years with their higher consciousness. That's why I talk about in a lot of my forums too, autistic children and how they are truly gifted, and it's we as humans don't understand how to interrelate with them or teach them. And we have to go back to the Socratic method of teaching that will allow these children who are autistic to open up and be more receptive to the learning process of being human.
Oh, go ahead, Teresa. I'm sorry.
And I see it in animals. Look at the animals. I know you guys, I think, Tom, you're out in Washington, and Ramon, where are you?
I'm in Japan.
You're in Japan. I don't know what's going on in Japan as far as the animals, but here in this country, because of the magnetic shift, you're seeing a lot of the animals act out of character, a lot of roadkill. I see a lot of birds hitting windows, windshields, because they can't manage that radar shift. They're having a hard time disseminating where the ground is and where the heaven is.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say about the autistic children. I've had experience with I was teaching at an elementary school, and I had an experience with one in particular where he would just do things that were straight out telepathic. I'll give you an instance. I teach English, and he doesn't speak any English whatsoever, barely can get the Japanese language. And he does like a lot of little funny things where he'll go into the bathroom and he'll drop his pants all the way down, and then he'll walk out the bathroom just like that, with his butt out in the open. And I would tell him, I would say in English, "What are you doing? Pull your pants up." And then he'll pull his pants up and say, "Did you wash your hands? Go wash your hands." And then he'll go and wash his hands. And his homeroom teacher was there, and he was in shock because he was like, "He doesn't speak English. How does he understand everything you're saying?" And I would just turn to the teacher and say, "Oh, it's telepathic." and the teacher looked at me like I'm crazy. But he consistently would do things where I would say something to him in English, and he would react to it exactly. And it's like, how does he know? There's only one way he could know.
Because these kids are truly, really spiritually evolved. They don't need the form of the physical human vocal cords to have an exchange of dialogue and has an exchange of an experience. Their energy exchanges it at a very core level.
Yeah.
And that's how I interrelate with autistic children. It's at that core level. And since I run more in the spiritual realm than I do in the physical realm, I understand autistic kids. I can get to them where nobody else can get to them. I meet them on the Rainbow Bridge. And that Rainbow Bridge is the bridge in which they vest into spirit. Autistic kids really are very, very highly evolved savants. And that savant is unique to that individual. That's why no two children are alike, because that spiritual essence is not alike with anybody, just like our fingerprints not alike.
Mm. Now, with the communication with the animals, what are they? Is there like a general statement that they're stating?
No, every animal has their own little story. I just did a doggy fest yesterday in New Jersey, and I spoke to a lot of different dogs, different breeds. They also are very highly spiritually evolved. Like, I get dogs who just don't want to talk to a human. They don't want to bridge that gap, and they are just truly in the moment and want to be dogs. And then I get dogs that are highly evolved, very spiritual beings who want to jump in my lap and tell me their whole life story, tell me all the secrets of the family, tell me everything that they do all day long.
So Teresa, I as you're talking, I have one of my chihuahuas that are sitting on my lap right now. Could you give us kind of just a quick reading on him so we can hear kind of how these readings go?
Sure. Can you give me his name so I can link up over
His name is BJ.
Okay, BJ. Oh, very interesting. BJ says to me to tell you that
Sorry.
he really likes hanging around with you, but could you be careful? Sometimes when you're in bed, you roll over and you catch him off guard, so that you don't roll on him. So I need to tell you that, because he shows me rolling, and it's you rolling, not him. And he says to me, and not to get too personal, but you asked for the reading, so I apologize if I offend you. He says to me too, it's not always me who has that unusual odor. And he points to you. He says they all blame me, but it's not always me.
Okay. Yeah.
And you have a bigger dog besides a Chihuahua. He says, I have a bigger brother or sister. They don't, and by the way, dogs don't differentiate male and female. They do as far as animal instincts, but as far as connotation between, their family members, they really don't. But you have another bigger dog, he shows me.
That's
correct.
I'm laughing.
No, I've got 3 Chihuahuas and a cat.
It's got to be the cat.
Now BJ came to me shortly after. Now this may be tying into my Dalmatian that passed before BJ was born, and I have a very strong feeling that BJ is the other's reincarnation.
Could be, but he shows me the cat is bigger than him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it's the cat that's bigger than him. And he doesn't like the cat. Got me?
Well, they definitely have their issues.
They have a lot of issues.
It's
he says the cat's got a bad attitude, and he says to me the cat thinks he can strut his stuff and walk all around the house. And BG is like, I'm having none of that. Am I right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So here's a question on the cat that we're curious about. The cat's name is Asha, and she ended up with a scrape on her butt the other day, and I'm curious. We have no idea how this happened.
I'm still connected, BJ, and BJ says to me to tell you, why are we talking about the cat? He says to me, because I asked him what happened with the cat, and he's like, I don't want to talk about the cat. It's about me.
Okay.
He says the cat doesn't need to be involved in this. It's me and the boys, and we're all happy, meaning the Chihuahuas. He says the cat's just a problem that we deal with every once in a while. He's got that attitude. He doesn't like the cat. Got me?
He gotcha.
Okay. I also got to talk to you about. He says to me to tell you to clean your boots off when you come home. He says he doesn't like the smell of a dirt or sometimes there's some oil or grease on your boots too.
That's probably it.
Okay, because he says to me it bothers him. So do you come home with oil or grease on your boots?
Some solvents once in a while, yeah.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
Yeah. No secrets on from animals.
Yeah. They you know, I just find dogs in particular for me, I just am absolutely amazed at the amount of love that they constantly give.
Oh, absolutely. And they also tell me all their stories. So I would like to ask you to put me on the spot. Was what BJ was telling me correct?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely getting along better with the cat than when the cat first moved in, though. So they're becoming more tolerant, I should say, and they actually do interact once in a while now. So.
But tolerant is the best word. I wouldn't call it a relationship. I wouldn't call it anything. But we're sharing territory, and everybody's cut out their space.
It sounds like you need to have like an interspecies, what do you call it? Like a UN type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
BJ also tells me, too, you hurt your finger recently?
Which one? Yeah, I'm constantly coming home with cuts on my hands, so.
Okay. I just need to acknowledge that. They don't always know which one, but he shows me fingers. So I have to tell you fingers are an issue. So you hurt your finger recently. Was one a deeper gash than you usually get? Because that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Just kind of a scoop.
Yeah, well, that's a gash. Yeah.
Ouch.
So I need to acknowledge that here as well.
I'm curious about. We recently had well, I like to put it this way. We were adopted by an alley cat recently, and I was just curious about her.
She's had 9 lives. Wow. And by the way, she still likes to go out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also being shown that she's being fed by other people. So she's been adopted by other people too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's not just you. I see other people also adopting her. She's very friendly, and she has this almost, I want to say needy demeanor, but she's learned to play it. But she really doesn't need. She really can fend for herself, but she just likes the interaction with the humans. And she likes to get the free food and then the massages, and then as soon as she's had enough, she's off on her way to someplace else. So can you relate, please?
Yeah. She does that all the time.
But she's really, really sweet. She knows how to get into your heart. She knows how to purr and meow at all the right times. She's really quite interesting.
She's much better at training my wife than me. Because I was, can you get me some juice? Why do I have to get it? You get it. And as soon as that cat meows, man, she's all over it. It's like if I ask her for something early in the morning, she doesn't react to me. But as soon as the cat meows, she gets up. Do you want food? She lets her outside or something.
Maybe your wife's training you.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know. But it's very interesting. I love talking with animals. I love sharing with them. I've talked to all different types of animals. My specialty, obviously, is dogs, but I also talk to horses. I've talked to camels. I've talked to pigs. I've been to many horse farms. I've talked to cows. I talked to cats themselves. I love doing pigs. I've done guinea pigs. I've done gerbils. So I've done pretty much a lot of species. I've talked to baboons. I have a friend of mine who has a baboon in his house. I go there and I talk to the baboon. So I've pretty much covered a lot more of the gamut than most people. I've had some times with actually wild wolves, and I've spoken with them, and I adore their wisdom and their insight, and they're brave heart, and they're so smart.
Which animal would you say, or have you met an animal that's more of the shaman type, or who would be the shaman out of the animal kingdom?
You know, it's really per individual animal, not per species. Okay. Because I've seen dogs that are so highly evolved. I have one. His name is Wizard. He's half Siberian Husky, half Standard Poodle. He's got blue-green eyes. You look at him, and he looks right through your soul. He knows the game plan right away. And he tells me stuff that makes your hair stand up about the world, about spirituality, about what he's feeling, what he's sensing. And then I meet other dogs who, like yesterday at the dog festival, who just don't want to communicate. They want to stay doggy, be in the moment, and just keep it simple.
Now, for those of us who would love to communicate with our own animals, how does someone go about to start to try to do this or learn this?
Well, I often tell people when they ask me that question to start out slow. Start out gaining the trust of your animal. And even though you know your animal loves you, doesn't mean they trust you. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for most people because animals are not used to talking to humans in the sense of actually spending quality time working on that. So I often tell my clients to start massaging their dog or cat. Get them in a really calm, relaxed state. Get them so you have their undivided attention. So any outside stimuli, for example, other dogs barking outside or noise outside that would gain the animal's attention, try to minimize that. Try to put it in a very calm, comfortable, quiet environment. And then start with something very simple like sending them a heart, because dogs think in very visual perspectives. Let them feel your heart, put their paw up to your heart, feel their heart, connect on a vibrational level, and continue to do that. And then start out small with a thought of I love you, see what the dog responds back to. Or put a thought of treat in your mind. See if the animal responds to the treat. And you'll play with those thoughts, and over time, you'll receive back by keeping that conduit open. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be quick, because animals have learned not to communicate with humans.
So they consistently communicate with each other, even different species.
Correct. But they don't consistently communicate with humans. Because humans, we think that we're the bomb. We think we're the top of the food chain, and everybody else is below us. In my opinion, we are on the bottom of the food chain, and most mammals, as well as some other species, are much more intelligent than we are. They actually understand vibration, spirituality, essence of treating each other nicely more than humans do. Humans really are, in the real scheme of things from the spiritual perspective, the lowest of the low. What other grouping of individuals kill for the sake of killing? No other animals do that. They kill for food. They won't kill for the sake of killing for the most part.
When do you think that we became disconnected?
I think it's been an evolution of disconnect. It started probably, I would venture to say, with Adam and Eve. And it's been an evolution over time. And people like myself, people who are truly gifted, come onto this planet to teach others how to do it. And because we as humans have become, especially in today's society, such a monetarily visual society of what I own is who I create, and the more I have, the better that I'm supposed to be, the better my life's supposed to be, the better person I'm supposed to be. We forgot about integrity, we forgot about morals, we forgot about ethics as a consciousness, we forgot about character. All those things you can't buy. Every generation that we forget to teach that and we forget to instill that takes us one step further away from connecting with the greatness of the Creator and communicating.
Right. Well, I kind of see the people like you who have come into the world that are truly gifted throughout the ages have been basically the torchbearers of consciousness, of truth, and have kept that flame alive through the darkness. And as the cycle turns and we begin the upward trek back into, the fullest consciousness we're able here in this dimension, that, this is when the torchbearers are able to start really shining. And instead of just maintaining the ember of fire, they're able to start spreading it. So I kind of feel that's where we're at right now, is at a point where we're able to start spreading it again.
I agree. We are starting to spread it because all of the physical attributes that we attribute this world to from a monetary perspective are starting to break down. Our government, our economic system, all the things that we have prided ourselves as human beings as having is slowly being taken away from us. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's left at that point? If money's being taken away, economics, jobs, lifestyle is so slowly starting to be compromised. In some cases, already compromised. What's the only thing that can't be taken away is your authentic self, and within the authentic self is the connection to the Creator, that light, that essence of who we are. And the Creator comes from within, because that is the gift that was given to us when we came here, was our soul.
Yeah, it's happening in a couple different ways that I've noticed. Those who are having it ripped away from them, and then those who push it away and just walk away from it. And I've seen some absolutely phenomenal miracles happen around these people on both sides of that, the ones who have had it ripped away and the ones who walked away, how they have put their faith in how the universe works and the faith that God provides, that universe will provide whatever is needed. And when they start walking that trek and the faith grows, they get not only what they needed, but what brings them joy. And it's been, I've seen some absolutely phenomenal things happen. And even within my own life, I see this working, and I don't know how to, it almost lacks we almost lack the ability to explain it properly, the way the miracle works, but, yeah, it's definitely growing on the world.
Because in my opinion, it defies all human logic. When you start to trust that bond, that faith of the universe will provide, and you listen to the signs, listen to the direction you're being sent, watch for the signs, allow that beautiful divine energy in, and allow it to work its magic, then everything starts to fall into place. But it doesn't fall into place in a way that I would say to you, the human mind thinks.
Right.
It defies logic. It defies reason, but it works. Because the way it works is the Creator gets in, and whatever you believe the Creator to be. So I just want to let your listeners know that it's not in the context of a God, not in the context of Allah or Jesus. It's in the context of light. It's the context of energy. And whatever you believe that energy consists of and is the origin of is about how things unfold. It's the Creator, and the reason I call it the Creator is because the Creator creates. It creates blessings. It creates awesome connections. It creates an opportunity. Without that creator, none of this happens. And we as humans, as a consciousness, don't allow that in. When you don't allow that in, things cannot be created. Things don't unfold. Does that make sense?
That's well said. Yeah, that's well said. Now, do you believe it? Now, do you see the Creator as being an indwelling or something that is external that you draw in?
I see it being connected to the essence of who you are. Your authentic self carries light. Where'd that light come from? And I often explain it this way. How many times you've gone to a funeral and you look at the person in the casket and they look different than what you knew them to look like? And even the photographs that might be surrounding the casket of their past life, you look at those photographs and the person in the casket still looks different because that light, that essence is gone. The essence of what and who we are, whether you realize it or not, really does overshadow this temple of a body. And that's really what we see. And that's the true beauty of the Creator. That's where it all comes from. And we as humans, the journey of going within is the connection to the consciousness. Because once you connect within, you connect to all.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Before we finish this hour out, I wanted to ask you, this, how, when a young child is born, a lot of them are born very open. What can a parent do to keep them open without letting society shut them down?
It's funny you should ask that. I just did a whole topic on that on Thursday night on Project White Paper, and we talked about children of the paranormal. And the thing that I spoke about and I speak about often is when children are opening and developing, it needs to be done at home in a safe, comfortable environment to endorse them, to encourage them, but not to necessarily share it with their friends, not to share it with the society until they're in their 20s, because society can be very harsh, peer groups can be very devastating and difficult and cause a lot of harm to these children. Because, again, we live in a very fast-paced society and we live in reality TV. That reality TV is, in my opinion, the downfall to the whole spiritual movement. It's open in a lot of ways to consciousness that the paranormal exists, that there is spirituality. The other side of the coin is everybody wants to strive for it, and in doing so, they're not doing it correctly. And there's not really good role models out there to show us. There's no book. So it's time, it's taking the patience, it's allowing each child to develop in their own way, in their own time.
Yeah, because I've had the experience of dealing with certain children that I just feel like they're so open and I can feel that they're different, and I almost feel like they're reading my thoughts.
Because they are. That's the indigo children.
Yeah.
They telepathically communicate, and especially autistic children, they don't have the need to learn as the way we're teaching them. They don't have the need to communicate as the way you and I talk verbally. They can do it because they're telepathically open to that stream of consciousness. In letting a parent develop that, it's also fostering that individuality. I also see a lot of parents not knowing what to do, and each case is entirely different. There's no blueprint that says, oh, your child's developing, here's the process. Take this blueprint. It doesn't work like that. Because there are so many different gifts. You know, I in this conversation, I've told you I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient and clairsentient, but there's a whole bunch of other gifts that come along with that. And I use those 3 words because most people can relate to it. They've heard it. It's mainstreamed. But each individual child developing is not mainstreamed. They come in with their own family dynamic. They come in with their own karma. They come in with their own life path. So they come in with different aspects. Just like you and I are born with unique fingerprints, so are they.
That makes sense. So we're down here to the last few minutes and want to give you a chance to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can listen to your show.
And
you have a book coming out?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm working on a book. You can find me on my website, which is www.teresacommunicates.com. You can listen to me every Tuesday night live between 9 and 11 Eastern Standard Time by going to my website and clicking on the GRA icon, or going to globalradioalliance.com at 9 o'clock. You can participate. It is a live call-in show. I take questions from the chat room. I also take questions from call-ins as well. We do live phone calls. I'm also on Facebook. Friend me on Facebook. I put out a lot of inspiring, thoughtful, thought-provocative ideas and comments, and allow and teach spirituality. Sometimes I put up a technique on how to connect with your angels. I also do public events. I have one coming up if you're in the tri-state area in Saddlebrook on this Friday night, October 12th. So I check my website for all my events and my appearances. I was in Kentucky. I did the Bigfoot convention, and I saw Bigfoot and had a really great interaction with that. And that's one of my private interests. One of the things I want to do in the future is actually sit down and gain Bigfoot's confidence and have a conversation with Bigfoot. So there are many different ways, but always go to my website or Facebook me. I'm always online Facebook, putting out great inspirational information. And listen to me on the radio show. This week we're going to talk about paranormal children, and I have a guest on, so it's going to be very interesting.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for this first hour, and I want to thank everybody for listening, and hit that member button if you're not a member yet, and join us in the second segment, and help support Ramona and I and the 100th Monkey Radio. We're going to be taken out by the Luminaries playing Be the Change. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
The love you deny is the pain you carry. And I didn't have to read my arm.
There you go. All right, Ramon. you're getting better.
I'm becoming a professional.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Right. We'll see you guys in the second hour.
Now you can be the same, or you can be the change. Fall straight from inside, break through the chains. No one to blame, nothing to prove. You create your reality, it's up to you. Be the change
that you wanna see in the world. Like Gandhi live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the beliefs. Like Martin Luther King, aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ, life for the moment indeed. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, it's love to me.
My soul yearns for peace in a world that's flooded with war. History's littered with body scar, trying to settle the score and maintain an archaic platform of power and greed. People fight for land out of survival and need. So I'm killing my television and I'm planting a seed to fill my head with knowledge that I'm seeing receive. Due to the media propaganda killing my creed. Oh, what don't kill me make me stronger, feeling straight when I bleed. Fight for interest and forwards attached to feet. They try to sell you anything in this world, nothing for free. Land, air, fire, and water, they keep up in the ante, while the anti-proletariats hold the powers to be. But we keep fighting, surviving and thriving, recycling and rhyming. We constantly inclining, we see through the lying and prying. They tactically keep trying to keep you from asking the why.
Be the change that you wanna see in the world. Like Gandhi live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the beliefs. Like Martin Luther King, aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ, life for the moment indeed. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, it's love to me.
We find solutions, different possibilities, creating organizations like Aspire to Be, inspiring young minds to see, building life skills, nurturing creativity, fulfilling the youth's basic needs, listening actively, teaching the tools to succeed, positive role models, we plant the seed, the roots drink the water which feed the tree, someone help me, giving back is my responsibility.
Be the change that you wanna see in the world. Like